University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Friday show, March 14th, Pi Day 3.14, 2025. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube or X, do not adjust your television sets. Do not adjust your screens. Yes, that is Braylon Edwards. Look at Braylon Edwards. How about it? Fresh cut, looking good. Dude, let me tell you, this is literally Braylon Edwards circa 2004.
Right. This is definitely when I had to go to when I was playing at the University of Michigan my senior year. Yeah, it was time for a change. You know, I had to talk to people in my family. My uncle's been trying to get me. Shout out to Uncle Ricky.
Shout out, Unc.
Uncle Ricky's been trying to get me to cut my hair for like the last 5 years. And finally, I said, you know what? Today is the day. So we trimmed it down. Good thing about my hair is it grows fast. So I can get the beard back within a week and a half. I'll have a shadow.
How do you feel though? Because the beard was such. When you have one like that, it becomes a part of you.
I feel naked, and it was real when I stepped outside. Like I got my hair cut at 8:15, so I'm done at 9:30. It's still a little chilly. That wind smacked my face. It's the first time I felt wind on my face probably in 10 years. So probably since I was with the Jets. So it was a weird feeling. It felt good to a certain extent. Washed my face and got a chance to actually touch my face, wash my face. So it's still weird though. Like I miss looking at the beard. I've had it so long. It's become a staple. This is what you know who loves accordingly. But sometimes you gotta go with the change for a second. Like I said, my hair grows fast.
Tom Mazaway.
I don't like it.
Tom Mazaway has long said, and good afternoon to you, Tom Mazaway.
Hey,
you are way too good looking to cover up that face with a beard.
That's everyone in my family, with the exception of my sister. Shout out, I appreciate you because I love my beard. But my mom, my grandmother, my uncle, they're like, we want to see your face. People deserve to see your face. I was like,
I mean,
but the beard's been me.
And pause.
Yeah.
Pause before I even say it. You are one of the best looking guys I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I appreciate
You're a
that.
great looking guy.
It's not fair.
It is. It literally is not.
Guy get better looking.
It literally is not fair.
I appreciate it.
You know,
I just wanted to throw me a crumb. Give me something.
Tall, black. You know what I'm saying? Got this little look young, black.
Tall, black, handsome, athletic.
Yeah.
You got everything going on. You got a smile. Look at that smile. You kidding me? Pause.
You know what's funny? So that would be the thing. You made mention of it, and I didn't even pay attention. Is the dimple? Like,
the dimples. I've never even seen the dimples in 20 years.
Got a hatch? Neither have I. Realistically, so this is an adjustment period, but I like it though, man. It took years off my face too, so I'm outside. I need to look young.
Not fair, Tom Mazaway. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm still me. Hey,
you looking good too, man.
Thanks, Ricky. Hey, it is what it is. I got a good heart. That's all I can tell you.
Hey, you got a good heart. Listen,
you don't age though, man. You look the same forever.
You have one of the greatest hearts of anybody I know.
Thanks.
That being said, could you, and I'm sure you can imagine this because you had that beard for a long time.
Yeah.
Could you ever shave your goatee?
I don't know.
No. I don't think I've ever seen you without the goatee as long as I've known you.
I've had the goat since, I would say, 96.
Yeah. No.
Since 95, 96.
Yeah,
and I haven't let it go. It used to be black.
Because I remember, the first.
It was black a couple years ago.
Yeah. That was a fake Tom Mazaway a couple of years ago. No more dye for me. No more
Ryan,
that's done.
Evil
But
Tom.
my first recollection of you, Tom, is doing the Michigan games on the broadcast.
Yeah, that was
the
fun,
pre-games and the post-games and
great.
all that
I had
stuff.
the Tigers, had the Red Wings.
Right.
I had a great
You had
career.
a goatee all the way back then?
I did. Don't remind me of the good old days.
Now you're stuck with us. Huh?
I got you.
That's
I love you
fine.
guys.
Oh, very
I
good.
talked to Chad Johnson today, our guy.
did?
Our guru.
Really?
Yep, he's having a great on time down in Florida. Shout out to everybody he tells. And, he's the founder of Woodward Sports, so we thank him.
I don't get it. I don't talk to him nearly as much as I'd like to. So that's good that you talk to him. That's great. Everything going good?
Oh, yeah. I asked him if he was either at the golf course
or the baseball
racetrack.
field.
Or the racetrack or the baseball field.
Or on the boat.
He's on the golf course, on his way to
man,
the
I'm
baseball
jealous.
field.
That is fantastic.
Yep.
Great stuff. Well, we got a big show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Dan Miller, top of the hour. So much talk about the Lions, over the course of the last week when free agency opened up, even a little bit before free agency. We'll get his take on this. And the funny thing is, and again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Forgive the pun. Are some of these overreactions? Yes.
Who cares?
Yes, they are absolutely overreactions. It is March. It is the NFL offseason. We are overreacting. I am overreacting with every sort of conversation that I have.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to come in here and be like, there's nothing to talk about. No, it'll be fine. It's just, no. When you got to pick a side, you pick a side.
You have feelings. How do you hide your feelings?
Passion.
Right. And the side and the passion that I'm feeling is going to lead me to one way or the other. And that's the road it's leading me down right now. I'm a big history buff. Okay? I think history tells a lot of the story.
Yep.
And if you're not learning from history, you are going to repeat it. Mm-hmm. And that is the only thing that has really led my passion down the negative ramp with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, 100% of the Detroit Lions. Look, it's March. It's March. We've come off a Super Bowl in which we did not attend. We've come off a preseason period so far in which we don't feel like we made this necessary move. So we're excited. We're still excited about where the Detroit Lions are. We're excited about them being 15-2. We're excited about them winning the NFC. Last year, 12-5. They go to the NFC Championship to watch the whole thing turn around. Like, we know we're close. We know we're knocking on the door. And pardon us for, like Matt said, being human and just say, hey, look, man, we want to make sure that we are making the right moves so that when it's September, we're ready. We're locked and loaded. We're not waiting until October to try to find that last piece or, oh, shoot, this isn't enough. What can we do? Scrounging around scrambling around, to try to find that pick or that trade to take you over the top. I'm trying to make sure we do it now. And if it's not around, if it's not out there, then that's another issue. That's another story for Brad Holmes and his front office to deal with. But I just want to make sure, like I see other teams making moves, that I believe that those teams, those are some good moves, and those teams got better. I want to make sure that through the process of the offseason, the Lions are making moves that I feel like are making them better. Some moves I feel like have made them better. I think they've added some depth, if you will, that defensive line. Lopez, saw some more film on him, like him a lot. I understand you need special teams players. You got rid of Ife Melifonwu, so you bring in So you bring in Stewart from the Colts. I understand that, and he's a go-hard guy. So I understand that you're bringing in guys that you need, and that's cool. I just got to make sure that you bring in the guys that you need that are really going to turn the needle when the time is right. But like you said, Ryan, it's March. We're grasping at straws because at the end of the day, we like where our Lions are. We just want to make sure that our Lions stay there and actually get better and don't just try to stay at where they were last year.
Hey, man, I love this team as well. They're one of the best teams in the league. We wanted them to improve. We thought a couple of free agents, big namers, would have improved them. Defensive line especially. They went to the interior. The nose tackle, Roy Lopez, like I said, I didn't watch much of him, but when you get a player, you get a lot of tape on him. The guy looks like a grit guy. Grant Stewart, I already told you the story about him. I'm going to love this guy. You guys are going to love him as well. Linebacker, special teams guy. Those are Lion-type players. I just wish they would have addressed the defensive line. I do hope they still bring back Big Z. I love Zadarius Smith. Maybe they bring him back. He's still a free agent out there. I thought he was a good fit on this team, and we never really got to see what he can do when he has Hutchinson on the other side. Right. I believe he comes back. I think he can get a big handful of sacks. I think what did he have, 8 or 9 last year?
He had 9 in totality.
I think he can get 6 at least.
I think that's a good move. And what they did, they released him. They didn't extend him yet because you let him test the market. You let him dip his toe into this market, see what his value, see what his worth is. And as you're seeing so far, Mads, has he been signed by any other team? So I think this actually was a good move because I think now you'll get him back. You'll get him back cheaper than what you would have paid if you would just paid him right away at 12:01 when the trade deadline hit. Now some time has passed by, some deals haven't gone through. Doesn't necessarily look like he probably will get the money that he wants. Now what do? Now you got to come back to the team that you could build something with. So I like that move. I will give them credit on that one.
Let's talk about what the Lions have done this offseason instead of what they haven't done this offseason. Many of the guys that re-signed or did sign in free agency, including DJ Reed, spoke with the media. They had a media session, plenty of availability, and you're going to hear some of that now. Here's DJ Reed talking about the Lions defense. He will describe his game and then, of course, his relationship and his budding friendship with Terry and Arnold.
I wanted to play with dogs, and gratefully I'm playing with dogs on the defensive side and on the offensive side. So I'm going to a great team. Man, just been a fan, just far away as far as looking at teams because, you know, we cross paths from watching other teams. You see Detroit Lions defense on tape. And we used to talk about it, just the way they played, whether injuries happened, you could tell that the standard was the standard. A bunch of guys that care about football, a bunch of guys throwing their body around for the main cause, which was to win a Super Bowl last year. It's fun to see. It's exciting to see guys playing for something that's bigger than themselves. That's something that I wanted to be.
In this defense, your play style fits what Shep wants to do defensively.
I think it fits very well. The reason being is I'm a scrappy guy myself. I have grit. I'm a tenacious player. I want to dominate and win every rep. You know, I'm a willing tackler as well as corner, which, you know, most corners don't want to tackle. You know, most corners want to cover. I like to throw myself out there when I have to, and I also want to cover as well. So I think I fit well, and also, you know, being a mentor, being an older guy to, you know, help guys like TA. I'm looking forward to meeting Amik and everybody else, and I'm really looking forward to playing with the safety duo. Like, that's something I was very excited about is I'm going to be playing with two all-pro safeties, you know what I mean, which that's going to take my game to the next level, and I think just going to turn up the whole defense. As far as talent, as far as being sticky, it was a reason why he was drafted in the first round. So he's going to be, you know, very good in my opinion. I think he's a Pro Bowl, all-pro type of guy.
A week and a half ago, we talked about DJ Reed being released, and I said this earlier this week. Talked about him being released from the Jets, and this is in no way that I know that he was going to be a Lion. But I said I liked him. I like what he did at the line of scrimmage. I like his aggressiveness, as he's here. You hear him talking about he's tenacious, and he is. He is tenacious at the line of scrimmage. My only issue, my only concern is you were looking for a DB1. DJ Reed has never been a DB1. He was not that in San Francisco when he was there for 4 years. He was not that when he was with the Jets. He was opposite of Sauce Gardner. Shout out to Detroit Martin Luther King High School. He was opposite of Sauce, and he played well, but you're seeing two guys, and you got two effort out of him. And also that defensive line, Quentin Williams is arguably, you know, top three in the middle, and that's the guy that was his defensive tackle. C.J. Mosley, one of the best linebackers in the game. That defense was really good. Here we go again. The money was less than Carlton Davis, and I'm appreciative of that. But is he going to be DB1? He's 5'9". He's a smaller guy. How is that going to be? And these are real concerns. Even though he's 5'9", I know people are like, yeah, so what? It's a real concern. He's 5'9". He's your number one DB. He's going to be going against the studs. He's going to be going against the DK Metcalf. He's going to be going against the Justin Jeffersons, et cetera.
Hopefully Amik Robertson's going up against Justin Jefferson because he was locked up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Justin Jefferson stoppers. So when everybody's excited about DJ Reed, look, I like him as a player. I am a Jet guy. I watched him. I understand that he can play. Is he a DB1, though? That's what you were looking for. That's what the Lions needed. You needed a DB1. And I don't know if we got DB1 out of DJ Reed, but I do know that he's going to come here. And one of the things, too, is just about the locker room. It's just about the ease in which the Lions do things, with the uncertainty of what the Jets locker room was, the front office, the podium. Every time you go to the podium, you don't know what questions you're going to answer as a player. Here in Detroit, you know what it is, and he's going to come and work. So that's going to be good. I like that aspect of it. I think he'll be a good team guy. But once again, I have a question.
Yep.
Is he going to be a number one DB? Because the guy that you did not want to pay, Carlton Davis, was a number one DB and showed you that he was a number one DB, even when the defensive line was in disarray all season long. So that's a real question. I like him as a player, but I still got to see.
Hey, man, Terry and Arnold was drafted to be the number one cornerback, and I believe he's got the shot to get there. I do. And we don't even know what Enes Rakestraw is yet. Like Ryan said, we wouldn't know him if he walked in the studio. But we're hoping that Brad Holmes knew what he was drafting out of Missouri. And this kid is a good kid, fits the Lions culture. Now we have to see if he could become one or two as well. Terry and Arnold and Rakestraw were drafted high to be the future of the Lions on their corners. And then you got Amik Robertson. Then you got 2 great safeties. And Kirby's going to get paid here any day now. So Brian Brant's next year. Maybe, right? We'll see. But they still got to rush the passer.
Yeah, we'll see with Terry and Arnold. I don't want to be negative at all. So I definitely will see how this year plays out, see how this offseason plays out, see how working with DJ Reed, see how that works and how that looks. I just know. When you know, you know. And we're still trying to decide.
Let's introduce you to Lions linebacker Grant Stewart, who met with the media as well. He says he wants to be here.
And it's grit. You know, you see it on the side of the building. You see it on people's hats. You definitely can tell mid-game going against them. That's what they're about, from their wide receivers to their offensive linemen to the way they play defensive special teams. So that's something that I was like, man, like, if there's a whole building of people like that, I'd love to be there, you know. And so it was an easy choice. Yeah, play style is definitely crash out. Play style is definitely relentless effort. Doing what I have to do to make the plays to help the team win. Like, you know, whether that's setting up a play for somebody else, whether that's making a play myself, whether that's running through the fullback's face, whether that's playing fullback if you need me to. Just open to whatever to help.
So there you go. We'll see what contribution he will play. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know anything about Grant Stewart.
He was loved in Indy.
I mean, I'm sure he's a good guy. You know, he's one of those grit guys, right? I mean, one of those grit guys. And I'm sure the flowing hair that he had locked down there, a lot of people will endure themselves. Alex Anzalone has that flowing hair too, but he plays great on the field, you know? I mean, he's one of the heart and soul pieces of the Lions defense, Alex Anzalone.
He was that. I thought you were talking about Stu. I was going to say for the coach. One thing that we have to stop doing is every guy that come here is going to be the same guy in this route. He's going to be a guy that can jump into the locker room and be right away. He's going to be a culture guy. He's going to be a guy that gives his all, 110, if not more %. He's going to be a guy that has no ego because he just wants to win. Like, that's the guys that Brad Holmes is recruiting. So we can't keep giving that as, well, he's like, yes, he's that. Because that's what Brad Holmes is.
We know they're minor
in.
signings.
100, we know what it is. So, like, because I even just got guilty of saying that, talking about DJ Reed. I did the same thing. They're going to be Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, locker room guys. We get that. What else do they bring to the barbecue is what I want to know.
You know who this guy is? He's Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They've got another Malcolm Rodriguez. They love the Rodrigos. This guy's a Rodrigo. The next guy you're talking about is a Rodrigo as well.
Literally, Roy Lopez, same guy. I mean, all these guys are the same guy. They're going to come in. They're going to fit in the locker room. They're going to try hard. They're going to work hard. They're going to give you their all. They're going to give it 110%. Will it be enough to put this team over the top for a Super Bowl? Time will tell. Here's Lions nose tackle Roy Lopez.
Really just what they've built already. The whole league, the whole country knows what Detroit Lions stand for. And to be a part of it is a humbling experience. It's a blessing. It's something that I truly, truly look forward to. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to Sheila, Dan, and Brad for taking a chance on me, for believing in me, this opportunity. I hold close to my heart, and it's going to be a blessing. I got a big family. We're coming in full head of steam, man, so expect to see us coming in proud, loud, and so it's going to be an environment that my family can't wait to be a part of. So.
What were your impressions of Dan Campbell from afar?
From afar, he loves his players. He loves his city. He loves his organization. I'll tell you from up close, I didn't know he was that big, to be honest with you. I told them, I made a joke. I was like, I knew he played. I didn't know he could still play. Like, that's crazy. Really just what they've built already.
Well, you're entering year 5. It seems like you've grown each year of your career. What do you hope to show coming here and making this move?
Right. I think the biggest thing is people keep saying I'm added to a room that, I play a lot alike with. These guys play hard. They play for 4 quarters to the end of the whistle, and that's exactly who I am. When people ask about me, show up every day ready to work, excited to be here. It's a blessing. No bad days, man. And so I think that's the biggest thing is I'm going to grind it out to the very end, till the clock hits 0, and maybe one more second after that. And so it's a blessing to be a part of this room, and because you look on tape, and that's the way they play. And so is you can't fake it. It's down to the core, and so it's a blessing to be here.
Attitude, that approach come from for you?
Yeah, I think it's instilled in me since I was a young kid, man. I grew up wrestling, and I hated to lose. You know, I always said I hated to lose more than I loved winning. You know, I know that's kind of a normal saying to say, but it's the truth, man. The biggest thing was the tradition they got, the culture they built here. I look to coach one day when I'm done playing, and to be able to learn from Dan Campbell, like, come on, man, like this speaks for itself, man. So I still got a lot of years to play, and so I think the biggest thing is to join a room that on tape you watch them, you know they play with their hair on fire, and they got the juice, they got the energy, and you know, at the end of the day, as a D lineman, to join a room like that's a no-brainer. You know, especially someone that's, you know, trying to prove themselves in the league, and you fight for respect every day in the NFL. You know, so the biggest thing as a defensive lineman for me is fighting for respect. I believe in that, and so, you know, show up every day. You earn it. You earn your rep through your reps. You know, so and to elaborate on that, you earn your reputation on your reps. You know, so that was told to me my rookie year. I never left my mind.
So, again, you know, there's 53 guys on a roster, and Brad Holmes is filling that roster out, hopefully with quality people that are going to be quality signings. And, again, there's no doubt that Brad Holmes has, in our minds, I think I could speak for all of us, put together a damn good team. Yep. Is it enough to get over the top in the NFC? Is it enough to be amongst the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the NFL? It doesn't appear that way now, at least to me. And that's
they haven't
fine.
improved.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go through the draft. You're going to go through a second round of free agency. We'll see what happens. You know, I understand that. But as of right now, it feels like more depth guys. And, again, questions maybe about DJ Reed. I do think you're going to get the same production, or at least the hope is. Let's just say even if you get the same production from DJ Reed that Carlton Davis had from a year ago, where did you get better? And I understand the injuries talk. Oh, well, they're getting all the injured guys back. Yes, they are. But there will be a new round of injuries. There will be other players that get hurt. You're going to go through this all over again, hopefully not with 22 guys and hopefully not with a lot of key guys. But at least 2 key guys are going down. That's just the math in the NFL. Math in the NFL suggests that. So we'll see. Levi Onwuzurike is back as well. Here's Levi. Now Levi, I like this one. If you would have told me you could have gotten Levi Onwuzurike for 1 year, $5.5 million, a lot of people thought this guy was going to get $20 million a year, or excuse me, like a 3-year, $20 million. 3 years, $20 million.
But everybody in Detroit, including the front office, knows what the issues is, and it's his back.
Right.
It's not just he has back spasms from time to time, or has back issues. He's got to lay down on his stomach for a little while. Back loosens up, he can get back in the game. Like sometimes he can't go, and that's a consistent thing here over the last 3 years for Levi Onwuzurike. So once again, it goes back to the point. Are you getting better and are you getting worse? Bringing back a player that can play but yet has back issues at a defensive line, you're always under pressure. You're always low to the ground, which means you're exploding up paws, which means your back has tons of pressure on it. Like that's a position where you don't want back injuries just if you want him at any position. So, yes, I think he's a great player when he's healthy. The problem is, yet again, when he's healthy, like that defensive line, you don't want back injuries or knee injuries to be a thing. So I love the player. I don't know if I love the re-signing because of that.
Right.
Nobody else wanted to pull that trigger. Like, he's a good player.
He had his most availability last year.
Who said what?
He was available most last year.
And that's what he's getting paid
So maybe
for.
He's on the upswing. That's why you got to, hey, it's $5 million. Let's see what you got.
No doubt. And that's, what we're going for. I always say, hey, if you can give me 14 games in today's NFL, I think that's a win. 14 games is the standard. I think that you've got to really just say, okay, that was a good, clean year.
Hey, that's crazy,
isn't it? No, I mean,
I'm trying to think. I'm over here talking stuff. How many times did I play 16 games? First year had staph infection and tore my ACL, so I played 11 games. Second year, 16 games. Third year, 16 games. Fourth year, 16 games. Fifth year, 16 games. 6th year, 16 games. 7th year, I missed 5 games. and then I missed one game my last year.
Wow, 16, 16, 16, 16. 4 straight years of 16 games in a row. 5 straight years of 16 games in a row. Braylon Edwards, I did not realize that about you. 5 straight years of 16 games in a row.
Never missed a game in college either.
That is incredible.
It's a new Jeopardy question.
Healthy player in college,
Yeah.
healthy player in the NFL.
And at the end of the day, look, man, it was about practicing. It was about getting on that field and putting everything out there. I didn't care what the team was. Like, the Browns sucked. I was on many a bad team with the Browns, but at the time, it was you getting paid to do a job. You show up to do that job, regardless of whatever. So I just try to do that. That's why Cleveland fans get on my nerves. I used to play.
You gave it everything you had to
So
them.
many players come up with it. What happens is, once you get to around week 10, Maz, and you completely know that you're out, you're not in the playoff run, all guys, they start having little ankle issue, little lower back issue. I got a groin issue. There's a shoulder issue. It's just guys that
Career
don't want to get hurt.
preservation week.
They're preserving themselves for the next season, and really more so they can be fresh when off season start, so they can be healthy when they want to have fun when the season's over. I used to hate that. Meanwhile, anyway, I rest my case.
That's right.
Myles Garrett spoke today saying, hey, it wasn't about the money. I said we couldn't win, but I'm here now. We're going to win.
Right.
Just to let you know, it wasn't about the money.
Right.
Wink, wink.
So here's Levi Onwuzurike.
Just to have them back and you now back in the fold and DJ and Aleem, it's going to be a lot of the same pieces. How much are you looking forward to running that back?
Yeah, that'll be fun. I mean, what happened last year was crazy. You know, we can all admit that. And it's not going to happen again. You know, that's one of those rare things that happen. I mean, you saw how we were rolling at the beginning of the year. So to have all those guys back, everybody side by side, I mean, we're gonna cause some damage for sure.
What I took out of that was it was crazy last year. All those injuries ain't going to happen this year. No way, no how. How do you know? Again, Ryan brought up history. I'll just bring up history of this franchise. They have never gotten over the hump. They have never gotten to the big game. For some reason, I'll just call it's Lions luck. Like I said, they won 15 games last year. That would lock up any division 3 weeks earlier. It took them to the third quarter of the last game to lock up that number 1 seed and win the division. They pushed and pushed and pushed all year last year to get that number 1, and they finally just ran out of gas, and the coaching wasn't the best that game. Everything came together, and it was a disaster against Washington.
Players don't.
So you don't know, really, if those injuries are going to happen. You never know who is going to get injured, is what I'm saying, Bray.
No, I agree with you, and I understand where he's coming from. You know, if I'm Levi Onwuzurike and I'm looking back at what last year was, they went 15-2 without a consistent defense. You know, they went one of the best defenses in the league without a D-line. And he's looking at it from that standpoint like, shoot, we're going to be healthy this year because there's no possible way that we have to go through what we went through last year. So I understand it from that standpoint. Sometimes things happen, though, man. 2009, Chris Jenkins was our defensive tackle. You guys know Chris Jenkins around here. His son just went to Michigan.
Yep.
Won a national championship, is in the NFL now. So Chris was on our team. Chris got hurt, didn't play that 2009 season, man. 2010, he's coming back. Mike Tannenbaum put all his eggs in the basket that Chris Jenkins was going to be healthy. He said, oh, yeah, you know what? He'll be our guy. Remember I told you about the second-string lineman, Sione Poole? That was our second-string lineman. Well, he ended up playing because Chris Jenkins tore his ACL, which he had tore the year before, in preseason, never even made it to the season. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, more so is what I'm saying.
Fair enough. All right, the Lions did make another signing today. It is, well, 2 of them, but certainly one in which I think was a tremendous signing for this team. As they bring back Tim Patrick. We'll talk about him next and the importance to this offense. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford Buick GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision for only $299 per month. What about the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 per month? And the 2025 Hummer EV SUV, only $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick GMC, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at woodwardsportsbracket.com. That's woodwardsportsbracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash money and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to woodwardsportsbracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
You don't need the radio. That went out with powdered wigs. You don't need a television because televisions, just use your computer because we have 6 family members over there, all on our social media platforms. We are the best digital sports platform in all of Metro Detroit and all the world. 6 family members on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and of course Twitch. Like, share, subscribe, join. Come be a part of the Woodward Sports family. All of our family members are there. We need you to be part of a family as well.
Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazue, Ricky Burns, Pete Spivak in the house. Dan Miller going to join us at the top of the hour. I want to thank all our sponsors as well for being along with us. If you do get a close-up of Braylon Edwards, I want you to point out that this Braylon Edwards is the same person as this Braylon Edwards from the Seattle Seahawks. Look at that. Freshly shaven today.
My last touchdown was with the Seahawks.
Look at that. Unbelievable. My last touchdown was with Grosse Pointe South High School.
Never came out of the game.
My last time, one of us played in the NFL. Hey, I mentioned the Lions did re-sign Tim Patrick today. That's a really nice signing, Braylon. I think that is a target that absolutely had to return to the Lions.
Yeah, he definitely had to return. Last year, we went through the same song and dance trying to figure out how we were going to replace Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds was key for us inside the 10-yard line in the red zone as well as on third down. So many first downs that he had. How are we going to move the needle? Insert Tim Patrick in about the 10th week of the season. He just got better and better. I love this signing because now you have your trio. You don't have to play with it. You don't have to try to figure it out. Who's going to be the third wide out? You got your trio and you got your tight end. You know what you're going to do. So I really, really love this signing. And also, He is a wide receiver after my own heart because I love to block. And that's what he did well, just like J-Mo, just like Amon-Ra. So this right here, this is a signing for me.
No doubt.
Yesterday, did you see the T-shirt he was wearing? Put it out on Instagram.
What did he say? It was like Detroit only?
I only want to be with the Lions. That's it. I only want to be with the Lions. And a couple hours later, he signed. So we're very happy to have Tim Patrick back. It's a nice wide receiver room.
That's a change for the Lions. You know, there were no players back in the day, and obviously because they weren't winning, we know. But it's still good to talk about. It's good to mention. Nobody was clamoring to try to stay with the Detroit Lions or want to play for the Detroit Lions and say this is where it's at, nowhere else. And now you're starting to get that. One more thing we got to get, and I think it'll be a full, complete turn. Once you get that star player that makes it known out now, this is where I want it to be. This is where I told my agent to come. No. This is where it's at. That's the last thing we need. I'm not talking about a guy that can play DC. I'm talking about a guy that's an all-pro.
And again, provides his team with a really big target. I mean, J-Mo's on the taller end, I'd say, but he's such a speedster. He's not like that guy that's probably going to win a tough one-on-one battle.
He's not a presence.
Right, thank you. That's kind of what I'm going for.
You need a presence. You need a guy like, look, Tim Patrick 6'3", and big frame. I'm 6'3.5", same around that. So, like, when you're trying to place balls, when you're trying to place the football on a wide receiver, when you got a 6'3" frame, it gives you a lot more room and a lot more places to place that ball. The window, the radius is a lot larger for a tall guy like Tim Patrick. It just is what it is. Third down, you're trying to fit the pass into a tight window on the sideline. The longer your arms, longer your body, the longer you reach. And we saw that this past season. Tim Patrick had a couple of those key first downs on the sideline. So he's that tall body, he's that tall frame, and it's the presence more so than anything.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with Tom Mazaway on today's show.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Because
Get in line.
I believe that you believe that the signing of quarterback Kyle Allen is a clear indication that this team is not on board with Hendon Hooker. I disagree with that assessment. First and foremost,
that's fine.
Am I along the lines of your thinking?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
I think this is a camp arm.
Okay.
I think this is a guy that's coming in. You need a third quarter camp arm.
Right.
That's what I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
But there's also Jake Fromm as well, who's still on the practice squad.
Right.
So we got 4 guys going for, 3 guys going for one spot. So we'll see. Kyle Allen's been with 5 teams in 5 years. He's had a couple of good games.
3 guys probably going for 2 spots because there's probably going to be
there'll be a third guy on the practice squad. No doubt about it. Look, do I want Hendon Hooker to be the future Lions quarterback? They drafted him in the 3rd round as like a number 1 pick. Of course I do. I want to see him succeed, Jared Goff. But again, we've already said it. We've already tore this subject apart. He wasn't available for the playoff game. They passed him up for Teddy Bridgewater, who was retired for a year, coaching high school football. Teddy actually played in that game against Washington, and that's when the J-Mo reverse scored the touchdown. So what they did, obviously, is they damaged his view from all the other 31 teams looking at Hendon Hooker because you didn't get to see him in that playoff game. He was the emergency quarterback. So I'm just looking at semantics here, and it's a backup quarterback. We hope Jared Goff never gets hurt. Knock wood. I hope he stands up. Hope he's good. Hope they protect him all year, and we never have to talk about a backup quarterback. The Lions will not spend money on a backup quarterback. There are a couple teams. Matter of fact, the Kansas City Chiefs signed 2 guys today: Gardner Minshew and Bailey Zappi to back up and to fight for the for the backup position to Patrick Mahomes. So they spent a few extra dollars. The Lions will never do that, especially on a backup quarterback.
Chiefs have always had a really good backup. Mm-hmm. That has always been a priority for them. Know? You know, that's always been a priority for them.
Yeah.
Going back to Chad Henne, who, look, the Kansas City Chiefs have 1 less Super Bowl if it was not for a 95-yard drive.
2
95-yard drives by Chad Henne.
Because the one year he got the 95-yard drive, and that's what beat I can't remember who it was.
Browns, I think.
No, the Browns, he played that whole game because there's 2 games. There's one game that he played the whole game. And there's one game he came. To your point, you needed Chad Henne. You needed a backup that you trusted. But there were 2 games, is what I'm saying. One, he just came in for a series. One, he played the whole game. But regardless, you got to have a backup. And like you said, right, it's 100% that. Kyle Allen just brought in as another arm. You're going to need arms through camp. You'll need arms through training camp as well. You'll need that for the second team, for the third team, and things of that nature, for scrimmages if you want, for defensive looks. So don't make much of that signing. Hendon Hooker is your number 2.
Bunch of guys on the chat agree with you. They're like, hey, Maz, relax. Hendon Hooker's good. So they must have seen him. You know, I didn't get to see him.
I'm just telling you what it is.
They must know.
I'm telling you what it is right now.
They was at the practices.
Yeah, they must be right there in the quarterback room.
This would be fair to give Hendon. Hendon's had a full season of health last year. He's had a full season to be in the meetings with those guys, be behind Jared Goff, be with Ben Johnson. This is another off season. This is a real kind of like a first off season, if you will. So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. What are we conversating about Hendon Hooker when we get to June?
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
No. Be honest with me too.
Yes.
All 4 of you. Am I a real Debbie Downer?
No.
Am I?
No.
I think you are a great fan.
Victim of
You're just a
circumstance.
I think
It's a big
you're
heart.
a great fan
Big heart.
who's been beaten down before, who's seen this rodeo.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
That's exactly right.
And a lot of the people.
That's me.
That's what I think.
That's
That's
exactly
me.
right.
I think you're a great.
I'm a realist.
I think you're a great fan who has been beaten down like no man ever got beat down before, and you just keep coming.
And that's what
Thank you.
the Rocky movie.
Because everyone, I'd say 75% of the chat, maybe 80%, think I'm the biggest downer that there ever was. I mean, I read them all. I see it. I get it, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, man.
You like Lethal Weapon? What's his name? Lethal Shooter. He was like, I read all the comments. I see what you're saying.
I just don't.
No,
I don't know how to make you happy. I
But
guess.
that's why I made the comment yesterday, and they don't get it. They don't understand how you can be a fan of three teams, three bases. They don't understand that. They've always only been the Detroit Lions. They don't get that you're a Giants, Jets, and Lions guy, and those Jets and those doggone Lions.
man.
If you mix in what they've caused you in terms of pain and misery for 63 years, like I understand it. They don't, but I do. And then you mix in the Giants outside of winning
only 4 good years.
Outside of those 4 good years, a bunch of butt whoopings.
Garbage.
You know, just a thing too. Like I'm not complaining about the job or anything like that. I'm certainly not. Feel very fortunate to do this job, but if we had other jobs and we were just like Lions fans and you could go do other things, right? Like you were consumed with maybe your work or whatever you go to every day. This is what we're consumed with. Yeah. Every day this is in our face. Every day, every single transaction that every single football team makes and every single transaction that your football team doesn't make is heightened because of what we do. And we're on for 10 hours live a week. It's March 14th. You have to talk about something, okay? You have to talk about this stuff. And when you start a conversation about this stuff, and it's like sometimes you almost forget you're on because we're all buddies in here just sitting there talking about the Lions. Yeah. You say things in manners probably if you had a life –
yes.
You probably wouldn't care or wouldn't think twice about.
We can't help it.
I wouldn't even think twice about the Lions probably on March 14th today. Just for instance, today, this day specifically, okay? If I didn't have to come in here and do this job, and again, I'm not complaining about the job. I'm just trying to explain for you a little background of why we say what we do and how what our mindsets are. You can't just come in here and punt.
Yeah.
That's not an option. When you start talking about the Lions and you talk about these other teams getting better and they're not doing anything, it leads to passion, which leads to frustration, which leads to a little bit of saying things probably today that you wouldn't think in September.
Right.
And that's just a fact, you know?
And the show's
That's
no
a good
fun
point.
if everyone just agrees.
Right.
If y'all just came in here and just said the
But
same stuff.
the
it
things
wouldn't be
I
a good
say,
show.
I don't say to get you guys riled. I really don't.
Right. It's a
I
level of
really
truth in there.
I speak from my heart. And like I said, guys,
a big heart
I'm
too,
older
man.
than most of you. I know. Sit down, boomer. I know. I was born in 1962. I started watching football for real in 1970. I've watched since Super Bowl V. I love the NFL. When people tell me hey, what's the last book you read, Mass? Well, I have to go back to my scholastic school days. And I'd order the Dolphins, the 72 Dolphins, the Giants getting Larry Zonka, the Pittsburgh Steelers becoming that, Dallas Cowboys throwing the first Hail Mary. I love football. I absolutely love it. And I love my teams, the Giants, the Jets, and the Lions. Now I'm a Detroiter for 32 years. The Lions are my, by far, number one team, even surpassing the New York Yankees. That's how much I love this freaking team.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. No, you're absolutely good. Also, too, we're analysts, but at the same time, like, we're fans. Like, we're fans of the game. We're fans of our team. We're analysts, but we're fans. So, like, when you get to talking and having conversations outside of work, like, I'm talking with people that live in Minnesota. I'm talking to people that live in Chicago, and they're talking stuff. And it's fun to go back and forth. But then when they make certain points, now you get back and forth as a fan. It's like, all right, cool. Like, what are you guys doing over there? Like, we're getting better. Like, what are you guys doing? And I'm looking at Minnesota, and I'm like, well, adding Josh Sweat does make you better. Adding, excuse me, adding Jamal Hargraves on that defensive line, it does make you better. And now you start to look at that defensive line against this offensive line that had some issues, and now you're bringing in another guy, right guard. Is Christian Mahogany going to be the guy? So it's a fun conversation, but when you see other teams and you feel that other teams are bringing in people, they're going to make it happen right there for them, you feel like you need to make moves, and I think that's where we get to. We come in here and we look at the moves that are made. We have the conversations outside of work, and it's like, man, like, got some teams cooking with some grease. There's some teams that found some moves.
In our division.
100%. And it's teams that found things that weren't necessarily there. It was teams that understand that this is the window. Like, this is the time. Like, this is the peak. So,
and let me say this too, because I see there's people in the chat, and I fully expect it. Well, what about the Pistons? Well, what about the Red Wings? Well, what about the Tigers? And Michigan State won today, and congratulations to the Spartans. You beat Oregon in the quarterfinal round and move on to the semis now. Michigan plays later tonight if you're watching live. I understand all about that, but we are a business as well, and the information is out there. All you have to do is go to the YouTube channel and just look at the views. If you talk anything other than the Lions, which I do think it is great to talk about these other sports.
We just had Dan Dickerson on yesterday.
Dan Dickerson was on yesterday. We will continue to bring you conversations about those other sports teams. But it's going to be very short. It is going to be very short because you could say you want Pistons talk. You don't want Pistons talk. You could say you want to talk about the Red Wings. You don't want Red Wings talk.
That's right.
You could say you want to talk about the Tigers. You don't want Tigers talk. We're going to give you bits and pieces where we can, if we have to, but we're in the views business too. And the only thing that works for us is when we're talking about the Lions. We talk about the Pistons, crickets. Hell, we talk about Michigan, and we get crickets. We talk about the Red Wings, there might be 20 views on that. Talk about the Lions, 12,000 views. You know what I mean? So a little business side of that as well. I'm just giving you a little bit of insight here. That's why we do what we do.
Here you go. You want to catch up on the Pistons right now? Here it is. They're 2-5. They played tomorrow against OKC. Last night they dropped one against the Washington Wizards, a team that's last in the NBA. But we understand it. Some of those happen. You wish it didn't, but it happens. Pistons lose. They get the opportunity to get it back on track tomorrow against the OKC Thunder, a game that I will be at. You want to catch up on your Red Wings? Red Wings won last night to get out of a slump, and it was a big win because they were in a 6-game slump.
Yep.
I want to say
they'll be at Carolina today.
They won. They got out of the slump. That's good. But you know the bad news for the Red Wings? Guess they're next to opponents. They got to go to Vegas on Sunday, and they play Carolina tonight. They play Carolina.
Vegas will be here.
Oh, excuse me. Vegas
at
will be
Carolina
here.
tonight.
So they play at Carolina tonight. They play Vegas here. Those are going to be two tough games, and they're must-win games for this Red Wings organization that is trying to claw into the playoffs, much like they did last year. Are you guys ready to get back to the Detroit Lions?
After you tell us about the Pistons Cavaliers package,
right?
After you tell us about Super Chat, Braylon.
We
got the Braylon package.
You go ahead and tell them. You know what? I'll get them involved. You want to?
Please,
let me.
We got our first 5 of the day.
All right, first 5 of the day. We got our first entry of the day. Braylon's Pistons parlay package. It is 2 second row seats at the Pistons and Cavs on Friday night, March 28th, down at LCA. You'll get a parking pass. You'll get dinner at Parlay. That's Joik Bell's place, right? Yes. So get to the Super Chat. $5 gets you one entry into the contest. $10 gets you 3 entries into the contest. $20 in the Super Chat gets you 10 entries into the contest. We'll pick the winner on March 27th for the game on March 28th. So everybody that has done a Super Chat up until March 27th will be entered into a drawing. We'll pick live on the air right here on Woodward Sports Network. Before we Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Maz. I don't have
Byrne.
it.
Byrne was our kickoff today. Throws a comment in. By the way, congrats to the Bears for their offseason championship three-peat. 7-10 in 2023, 5-12 in 2024. Raise the W, Chicago, and throw the parade. They're getting the parade. It's the St. Patty's Day parade in Chicago coming up.
At some point, I do believe you have to take them seriously.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're getting better.
Right. They are getting better. And I almost think they are the biggest challenge to the Lions in the NFC North unless
it ain't them.
Unless that purple gang makes a move here.
Yep.
I just
don't understand.
I am so curious about this. So Diana Rossini, who covers the NFL, great reporter for the NFL.
Yep.
The Vikings are having discussions about what they want to do at quarterback and if they want Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers apparently wants Minnesota. Rodgers is giving them time and waiting to hear from Minnesota before he decides if he's going to go to Pittsburgh or the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
We will all wait. The Vikings have not made a decision on taking a year with Aaron Rodgers or just starting the clock on J.J. McCarthy. I am very intrigued on this because I understand it 1,000% from Aaron Rodgers' point of view. And I'll fully admit, maybe I'm totally blinded by J.J. McCarthy, and I'm sure I am. Maybe I'm totally blinded by him.
Rookie.
I just, I would not make this move if I was Minnesota.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
wouldn't do it.
I would do it in a second, twice on Sunday.
I know.
In a second.
And I could be persuaded. I love Jay. I think that much of JJ.
Let's think this. I hope, for the Lions' sake, that he does not go to Minnesota. I'll tell you that right now. Because if he does, they are going to be a major thorn, not only in the Lions side, but in Philly's and Washington's and Chicago's and Green Bay's side. They will be a top 3 team.
More with Rossini. Braylon, 2025 Vikings are built to win a Super Bowl. Is Aaron Rodgers the answer if they don't believe J.J. McCarthy is ready to assume control of a Super Bowl contender?
That's from
Diana Rossini.
Yeah, it's a tough spot that they're in. You know, when you think that your team is so ready to win a Super Bowl, you've gotten the pieces. I talked about the defensive line. They've gotten stronger at the cornerback position as well. A lot of that through the draft.
O-line too, B.
And that's where I was going. The O-line, that's the thing that held them back last year, especially against the Lions, who didn't even necessarily have pass rush. We destroyed them up front. They are built to win. That skill position is great. You got your running back as well, Aaron Jones. You got the wide receiver core. We know who they are. We won't have to keep mentioning them. We know what the tight end is very well. So they got players, and you want to win now. If you bring him in and he's any bit of what he's been in the past as Aaron in the offseason, in the preseason, the older Aaron that you have to deal with now during the season, you bring him in and it doesn't work out, and now he gets injured or he gets next up or he's just old, and week 5 you're looking around. Now you need to bring JJ in to save your season. A guy that you're still trying to figure out if he can play quarterback at this league, a guy that you didn't just give the reins to and trust in this moment. Now you're trying to bring him in at some point in the season because Aaron's gotten hurt or Aaron's old, if you will. I wouldn't blow my locker room up. I wouldn't take that chance. I just wouldn't.
I would only bring Aaron Rodgers in for one reason, and that reason would be if J.J. McCarthy is not healing properly.
Right, if he's hurt.
If the injury is not healing properly.
It's an MCL or it's not that big a deal.
I understand. I understand. I'm just saying if there's a complication.
And I'm trying to tell you there's no complication. Like it's a freaking MCL.
Right.
That you got to re-scope. Like MCL is one of the lower tier injuries that you can have. He'll be perfectly fine. And it was in preseason. And they re-scoped it in September. Like the kid is going to be fine health-wise. If they're bringing in Aaron Rodgers, it has nothing to do with health. It has everything to do with them trusting him as a QB to QB this team. It won't be injured.
Listen, man. Are you going to hand the keys to your Lamborghini to your kid who's first-time driver? Are you? No, you're not. I'm going to give it to the guy
Then
that's
why'd
going
you
to teach
draft
the
him?
kid.
Then why'd you draft him?
I draft him to learn.
Then why? Well, this is year 2.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but he didn't have a year 1.
Well,
he was hurt.
You got to go.
It's an interesting conversation, that's for
Hey,
sure.
Washington got to the finals with the rookie, so it could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. But I would bank on Aaron Rodgers. He has got something in him yet. He did not want to go out like he went out. He's a proud a-hole. He's proud.
You know, again, I'm not going to say I'm interested in history and not talk about history when it works against me too. I mean, Jaden Daniels was the first rookie ever to be in that spot.
Yeah.
You know, and he was the first rookie ever to be in that spot because it's hard. It's hard to do what Jaden Daniels did.
He's the second rookie. Second or third.
Oh, I thought he was the first rookie.
Well, I played with one. Mark Sanchez went to the conference championship.
Oh, he was a rookie?
He's a rookie. 09.
Oh, damn.
He was a rookie in 09, his second year in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. So
well, then I stand corrected.
But it's only been 2 or 3. No
Right.
rookie has ever gotten to the Super Bowl.
Okay, fair enough.
But to your point,
there you go.
Yeah,
if the goal is to win the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and no rookie has ever done that, even though JJ would be considered a second-year player,
He's a rookie.
first-year quarterback, rookie season, that's it's hard to beat history.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to beat history. If your goal is the Super Bowl, and no rookie quarterback has ever done that, that's
Also, too,
it's tough.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no.
Because I feel like we keep having this conversation. It's like, oh, you know what? Aaron Rodgers really wasn't that bad at the end of last season. Okay, let's see these last
4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Man, I get the stats. I'm looking at the games. All right, let's see. Who did they play at the end of the season here? Oh, they played the Dolphins. Trash. They played the Bills, who set everybody, beat them by 40. Played the Rams. 9 points they scored. They played the Jaguars. Congratulations. They lost to the Dolphins yet again. The Colts. The Cardinals blew them out 31-6. The Texans.
Interesting conversation. Dan Miller's on the line. We're going to get to him momentarily. That'll be our first question. Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings. What would you do? How about that? But first, a message from Buddy's Pizza. Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. 79 years later, 22 locations in the state of Michigan, and fans can still visit where it all began at the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app. Start earning today. Add some Detroit-style pizza to your next meal. It is Pie Day today, by the way. Get your pie at Buddy's. Save 10% using the promo code 10MEAL, the number 10, and then MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com, Buddy'sPizza.com.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Time to get in shape for the spring, because the spring pretty much is here. Planet Fitness is where you're going to do it at, because they have over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. And simply put, it's the gym for you. There's no judgment. It's a training with every membership. And gyms are squeaky clean. How clean? Squeaky clean. Not that's what they tell me. That's what I know from experience. Also, there's no judgment. Nobody's judging you, man. You work out at your own pace to the beat of your own drum. Just make sure you're getting that work in. Make sure you get your summertime fine body in. And last but not least, it's fitness that fits into your budget. They're not trying to hit you over the head. So come on down to Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Welcome back to the second hour of the show. And proud, yesterday we had Detroit Tigers on Dan Dickerson. Well, today we'll do you one better. We'll have Dan Miller, voice of the Detroit Lions, who we seem to love talking about here. Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Dan.
What's up? What's up?
He's muted.
Hey, Dan, we can't hear you. Did you mute?
Yeah, he's muted. He might be muted.
All right. We'll come back to you in a minute. You keep talking, Dan,
Oh, yeah.
and we'll let you know when we hear you.
We'll have him right now.
We wanted to definitely continue our conversation on maybe Aaron Rodgers. And,
That would be the first question, too.
What he's deciding what to do. He's mulling it over. Actually, the Vikings are in control of this.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, it's up to them.
It begs, when I went back and looked at Aaron's stats over the last 5-6 games of the season, just to kind of get a buffer on there. I mean, there are some numbers here. At the end of the day, it is who you play against. But he's got some good numbers here. 274 last game of the season. We know the team didn't play. It didn't matter. But, maybe there's something there. Wait to ask Dan Miller that question, because I just don't know if you risk everything that comes with that. I think that's my biggest hang-up.
All right, so overall with the Lions, what they've done this offseason, we've been talking about it for a week now. I'm not going to ask you for a grade. I'm just going to ask you your opinion. What do you feel that they've done this offseason? Did they stay same? Did they get better, or did they get worse?
You asking me?
Yeah.
So far, they've gotten better, which means that I don't want to be the poo-poo guy and say they've gotten worse.
Try.
Oh, Dan, are you there?
Give him a try here. Dan?
We haven't heard you yet, my friend.
No, all right. He's frozen.
All right.
We'll go back.
We'll hang up and try you again. Continue, Bray.
I feel like I keep answering. I think we hit it yesterday. You saw what the grade was yesterday. Yesterday we're giving a C. By what was that? That was Pro Football Focus?
Yep.
Gave them a C, and I think a C is what you get. I think there's some good things if you're talking about they saved some money here. They cut some corners here. They brought back Derek Barnes, who's been here since 2021. He's a locker room piece. He's a versatile linebacker. He can play the 3 different positions. They bring in DJ Reed, who is a pretty good defensive back in this league. A lot of penalties, but pretty good defensive back, a little bit undersized, but, he's a pit bull in there, and he'll come in and fit the culture. So they've made some good moves. They've added some bodies like Roy Lopez as well. We got Dan?
Hang on. He's coming back on, but he's got audio. There he goes. We're keep going.
Oh,
Braylon.
yeah. So, I mean, you bought some pieces in, but it just didn't move the needle. Like, I don't believe they've gotten better, but I think they've added depth that will help because last year, not having that depth is what hurt the Lions in the playoffs. If they would have had a couple more bodies on defense, the Lions would have been in the NFC Championship. And I don't like to use the if, but they would have been in the NFC Championship. And I think that's what you see is the Lions are adding bodies. And I think we got Dan now. Dan, we got you?
Yeah, you got me now, fellas?
Yes, sir.
There we go. We got you
Hey,
100%.
Good to knock that out.
Hey, while we got this, we just talked about the Lions offseason so far. Would you say they stayed status quo, got a little bit better, or got a little bit worse as we sit today?
I think getting better is in some ways starts with getting healthier, which I think is what Braylon was alluding to right there. But I think so far, look, I was happy to see them keep Levi. I think it tells you probably something about the market was out there and the concern that people have about that back. The fact that he came back on a 1 year, $5.5 million deal. But you know what? Puts him on another contract season, gives him a chance and a need to come back and prove some things. And I think he even said it yesterday. Look, he came up with a ton of pressures, but not a ton of sacks. He's got to convert those now. And then, listen, the cornerback switch, DJ, I think, is a heck of a player. I mean, some of the rankings had him, ESPN had him as the number one free agent that was out there. So we knew they weren't going to bring Carlton Davis back. This seemed like a little bit better maybe fit number. I'll be honest, I was surprised that they went that big at corner. I didn't really see that, but it just gives you an indication of what their game plan is. And the biggest question we all have, and inherent within your question, Maz, is the defensive line better, worse, or the same? I think health makes it better, and I don't think they're done yet adding bodies and pieces to that through trades, through the free agents left out there, and through the draft. Because that to me is the major question. And and then what's the offensive line exactly going to look like going into next year?
Sure. So they're not going to go big in the free agent. We all know that. So do they bring back a guy that I loved? I loved Zadarius Smith.
DJ Reed was big.
Hey, Zadarius Smith is big to me because he hasn't had a chance to play on the other side yet of Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's his spot as a number 2 guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, clearly they had a number on him that they didn't feel like they were comfortable with and a savings that they felt more comfortable with by letting him go. Whether or not he's that guy or there's another veteran out there that might make some sense for them, we'll have to wait and see. And remember, there's going to be other guys that are going to be traded. The draft is coming up as well. So I do think that what you see right now is not what they're going to take to training camp because I still think, they've got some concerns because Aleem's not going to be ready right off the bat. Hutch should be ready to go. Davenport, look, I'd love to see him work out. I'd love to see him be able to stay healthy, but you can't count on that because he hasn't been able to do that. So I think there's more bodies coming, more competition coming, more numbers coming. And we're sitting here talking about something that they understand, and that's that they have to get better in those spots.
Yeah, 100%. Joined by Dan Miller, Fox Move, as well as the voice of the Detroit Lions. Look, you sat down with both coordinators. How similar will things be in terms of styles of play? This question comes from Ryan Ermanni, by the way.
Yeah, you know what jumped out to me, Braylon, when I sat down is that there's a familiarity between Dan Campbell and these guys that he's bringing in. Because, I mean, you know it as a player. We all know it maybe as employees or employers, that when you hire somebody or you go to work for somebody, you may think you know who they are, but until you get in the trenches with them and go day to day with them, you really don't. And I think the thing that jumped out at me when he hired John Morton was that he'd been with him twice. He was here when they installed the offense in 2022, and he was a part of that process with Ben Johnson. So he understands how things work here. And basically what he said to me was, I'd be a fool to change these things. Now, there's things that they can do better, and if Ben Johnson had come back, there would have been things that they could do better. But I think it's going to look very similar to what they did last year. But I think there will be tweaks, and there's always going to be tweaks when you have somebody else in their rhythm calling the plays. So I think there's going to be a lot of continuity with the new coordinator hires. And I think the knowledge that Dan Campbell has of already working with these guys, I think is huge because it allows you a better chance of hitting the ground running.
Dan, a lot of the Detroit Lions so far in free agency have brought back a lot of their own players, the players that they feel have given them the success to get from where they were to 15-2 and NFC champs. Who do you think is the best signing for the Detroit Lions thus far? And it could be somebody that they brought back or somebody that they brought in. Who's the best signing thus far?
I think I would throw two at you. Look, I think Reed is obviously a really nice player, and if they had just let Carlton Davis go, then you would have been putting a lot on Ennis Rakestraw, where I think they got to look at him last year in practice. They got to look at him last year in camp. But, man, you didn't get the snaps in a game under high leverage situations to really understand who he is. This buys you some time to do that. Amik's got 1 year left on his contract. So now you buy a little bit of time to see who Ennis Rakestraw is. So I think getting that veteran corner, which, again, I didn't think they were going to go big on. I thought it was going to be somebody like a Darius Slay, Stephon Gilmore, somebody like that on a 1 year deal. They clearly went bigger than that. So I think that was big. And then, again, as I said earlier, I'm really happy about getting Levi back because I had concerns. I didn't know what the number was going to be. Forget the contract for a second, but that he's trending up. This guy's got talent, man. He can move people up front, and he's still realizing that. And he's dealing with 3.5, 4 years of being on again, off again, not being able to find, the ability to play week after week until this past season. So I just think it's great to have him come back and see, no guarantees, but see if he can realize his potential here versus, as I said in a post the other day, it would have sucked if he'd have gone somewhere else and all of a sudden found himself and becomes that 8 to 10 sack guy who, frankly, he was in position to be last year with the number of pressures that he had. Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. So I like both of those. And again, I don't think they're done. I'd be surprised if there's not another veteran coming somewhere on the offensive line to kind of give them, some insurance behind Mahogany and insurance with Glasgow and in particular on the inside. I just don't think they're done yet. I think the one thing that gets me is I watch people kind of render final opinions on an off season and what they've done. It's that it's not final. I mean, we haven't even gotten through the second phase of free agency yet. There's still guys that are going to help people win games out there. There's an entire draft to go through. And then there are trades that are going to be made between now and the end of training camp as well. So I think, look, they've earned some equity with what they've done in turning this franchise around to the point where, look, you don't have to have blind faith in them, but you also understand they got a pretty good idea of what they're doing in terms of roster construction.
No doubt, Dan. There's a few guys that aren't here anymore that I really loved. And Kevin Zeitler, I loved him. I thought he was the anchor on that on that offensive line. I thought Glasgow would be the guy out, not him. And then two defensive guys. I loved Ife Melifonwu. I loved his game. I loved what he did. He goes to Miami for $4 million, and then you lose the guy that a lot of people make fun of. It. Not me, though. Kindle Vildor. I loved him as a depth guy, a guy that could come in. I trusted him. What is your take on those three losses?
Well, I think Zeitler at $9 million might have been a little bit rich for them when they've got Mahogany on a first contract, as a fifth round draft pick that they can stick in there and save some money in that regard. And I do think at some point you're looking at Glasgow. I do think at some point you're worried that Frank's going to say, okay, I've had enough. So is that next wave coming into view with that offensive line as to what they're going to do? Like I said, I still think there's some veterans there. I just think, look, I love Zeitler. I love what he did. But at $9 million versus the idea of having somebody on a first contract, that's a huge contract savings there for them. Kindle, look, he played well last year. He did a nice job for them, and he's really good on special teams. But, again, you're going to put a number and a value on that and try to decide how you're going to parse that thing out. Their depth, I think if given health with Rakestraw, he becomes now that first guy off the bench, depending upon if there's any competition in camp and he doesn't beat somebody out. But with Arnold and Reed on the outside, and we assume Amik on the inside, and then the two safeties set up and Rakestraw being your next corner, I think that's probably the guy. I think in terms of Look, last year was disappointing. You know, the end of 23, he set himself up to be a playmaker with this football team, give him some really strong 3 safety looks. He's a guy that can come down in the box. He's got a lot of versatility, but he just didn't stay healthy. And then he was ready to come back, and he didn't stay healthy. And you know, sometimes that's just luck. And it's bad luck, but there becomes a question of, you know, how many of those guys are you comfortable with bringing back on injuries, guys that have not been? You did it with Davenport. How many of those guys are you comfortable bringing back again? And I think that's just really what it came down to. Iffy is a nice football player, but he's got to be available. And that's the issue with him. And apparently, you know, I don't know what they offered, if they offered anything, or if they were anywhere close to what Miami gave him at $4 million. And maybe he goes down there and you know, can maximize his potential. But the first thing he has to do for Miami is stay on the field. And that was really rough this past season when I think they counted on him playing a big role.
Talking to the great Dan Miller, and I'm glad. I think so often than not, you know, I'm newly invested into the Detroit Lions. I think from watching from afar, I'm watching, okay, you know, they get to the NFC Championship. Okay, they win the NFC North. Okay, they lose in the first round, well, second round for them, but first playoff game. And now I'm trying to play at home GM. Now I'm trying to say, well, they need to do this. Brad needs to do this. I appreciate you coming over here and just delivering some honest truth. Look at where they've gotten to. Look at the moves they made. Look at to where they've gotten us. They told us it would take 3 years, and it did take 3 years, and then they got so maybe sometimes you need to relax and continue to let them make moves.
There was you know what, Braylon? There was a really good piece on Fox Sports website that went back the last 8-9 years that detailed the teams that spent the most in free agency. And then towards the end of each year, it would detail the teams that spent the second and third most. It was really, you know, an interesting look at the teams that won March and what did they win in September, October, November, December, and January the following year, or even a couple years after that. And with a number of them, there was a little bit of a bump that first year, but it wasn't sustainable. And I just think in the NFL, man, and I know people are excited about what Minnesota's doing and Chicago's doing. Green Bay's really not doing much of anything. They're kind of doing what Detroit's been doing right now. But, man, when you know your guys and believe in what they can do and have done in your system, I just think there's a comfort level with coaches that you don't have when you're spending $70, $80 million on a player that comes from having success in another system and you're trying to say he can have that same success in ours. And I would really just tell people, go read that article. It's a really good piece. And it doesn't really, you know, slam anybody or anything like that. It's just kind of a look each year at what teams did and what the payoff was or wasn't. Because I will tell you, many times these teams that have the big spending sprees, 2 years later, they're shedding those contracts because they do come due. There is a point where you the salary cap, people say, oh, the salary cap isn't real. Oh, the salary cap, you can just, you know, jimmy it and fit guys in. Well, there's a reason there were a lot of guys being cut for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
you know what? There's a reason that a lot of people that Maz is in love with that got cut by other teams got cut because their value and their play weren't matching up with the contract anymore. So, you know, a guy like Jonathan Allen, the number that Minnesota gave him, does that match the Jonathan Allen that we've seen lately when he's been on the field? He doesn't look like the same guy he looked like a couple of years ago. Maybe he jumps in there and has a great year. We'll have to wait and see. But I think sometimes when you look at some of the contracts that were handed out, man, it gives you a little bit of hesitation to wonder how those guys are going to do with those teams. And historically, to me, free agency is filling in little gaps here and there. And maybe it's filling in a little gap with a big guy, but it's not to build a team. It just doesn't work.
No, you're absolutely right about that. You see the moves that the Eagles have made. Eagles had to drop a lot of players. The 49ers had to drop a lot of players over the last year or so. So you're absolutely correct about
it's real. Salary cap's real. You might be able to mess with it for a while, but it's real.
It'll catch up to you, and the bill will come due, as they used to say, correct?
I just wanted to win a Super Bowl before the bill came due, Dan. That's all.
Listen, Maz, I'm with you, and that's kind of that's what they have to figure out. Is the best way to do that to be able to re-sign those two safeties, your running back, your tight end, all these guys that are coming up for new contracts? Or is it to maybe have to cut one of those guys a year or two and you're bringing in player X at, $80 million? I mean, does Chicago love the fact that they signed Sweat for $98 million after they traded for him a couple years ago? You think they do?
No, they do not.
I don't know if they necessarily do that again.
You keep bringing up the other two teams in the division, so let's get there. The NFC North is the best division in football, and it seems it's only gotten better with the moves that the Chicago Bears have made. What of those three teams, and really it's the Bears and the Vikings because those are the ones that are making moves, which of those teams do you see closest to nipping at the Lions' heels? Because the Lions, let's make no mistake about it, regardless of how you feel, they are the kings in the North, and they deserve that credit to believe that they would three-peat as of now.
Yeah, I mean, by a hair at the end of the season against Minnesota. I think, but the questions that I have, and look, they may answer these questions with flying colors, but the questions that we have in Minnesota is, okay, is J.J. McCarthy ready to take over a football team and lead it as a quarterback in the NFL on a week-to-week basis and win a division? They've done a nice job of surrounding him with some pieces. They've obviously tried to fill in some holes, and we will see how that works out. I mean, look, I give Minnesota credit. Last year, they went out, didn't spend massive money, but credit to them, came up with two guys, one on each side that had double-digit sacks. So, I mean, that to me is when you're doing it right. It's when some of these crazy money contracts go out there that I just feel like I've seen on instant replay in this league that it doesn't work out. Look, I think Minnesota's going to be really good again. There's no reason to believe they're not. And it comes down to the guy playing. There are other things, obviously, health and that defense continuing to come together. But I think that defense was good last year. They've obviously added some pieces to it. But you're talking about J.J. McCarthy at the most important position, in my opinion, in all of sports, and that's quarterback. And how is he going to do? That's going to go a long way towards defining, what what Minnesota does this coming season. And the Bears, look, biggest question for them right off the bat is their head coach. I mean, Ben Johnson's never been a head coach before. How do you handle all the things going on around you? How does your staff work out that you've just put together? That, again, Ben may pass that with flying colors. Then you get down to his quarterback. Is he ready to be the kind of guy that can lead a team to a division title? Green Bay's going to be good again. Green Bay's going to be healthier than they were last year. They're going to be good. They're going to be a factor. This division, you could make a case right now. I'd say certainly for Minnesota, Green Bay, and Detroit, that they're at the top. And Chicago, you could see a path, if things break right, that they're going to be there too. It's what you guys said. It's the best division in football. And I think if you're a fan of any of these teams right now, you're probably feeling pretty good because Chicago's full of themselves with all the signings that they've made and having a new head coach, and Minnesota with all their signings and getting guys back and feeling good about the situation they have there. And I know they're excited about J.J. McCarthy, but I feel like in terms of questions, the Detroit Lions have less questions than those teams do coming into next season. Not to say they can't answer them, not to say they won't answer them and do a great job and take off running, but I just think there's less questions here than there are with some of those others.
What if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Vikings?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Listen, if I'm Rodgers, what makes sense to me is Pittsburgh. I really believe. I just think, and I think it's a good fit, as good a fit as you're going to get with a guy sitting out there as a free agent on both sides, because I think the culture there and the head coach there is so strong that they can kind of keep Rodgers in the box that maybe you need to keep him in, and that he doesn't become a distraction. Because I think he can still play a little bit. He's not the guy that he was several years ago, which one of us are. But I think, looking at him, to me, that just seems like a fit. It's the culture there, him moving in. They've added some weapons. They've got some nice pieces for him. If Minnesota wants to hold off on JJ for a year, maybe same thing with Kevin O'Connell. I mean, I think he's a terrific coach. I think he's a terrific offensive coach. I think he's a terrific – look, man, he was winning games or coming close to winning games with Nick Mullins and Josh, his name went right out of my head. The guy who played for the Lions for a minute. Josh Dobbs. I mean, come on, man.
Yep.
I mean, you're coming close. You know,
Sam Darnold
he did win some games with Mullins. I don't,
Yep.
you know, and it's so. And Darnold, that's a great point. Yeah, the most recent example. So, if Rodgers wants to go there and fit into what they have, him throwing to JJ, him throwing to Hawkinson, him throwing to Addison. I mean, I still think there's a little bit left in the tank with Rodgers. It's just a question of does he want it bad enough that he can kind of conform to whatever is happening there and not like we saw last year with the Jets, become some sort of story every Tuesday because he's going on and talking, and then that becomes a talking point. And more power to him. If he's got an opinion, he's certainly welcome to give that, but it can become a distraction when you go on, you know, a TV show on Tuesday and say something that everybody wants to talk about Wednesday and Thursday. No team needs that.
I know,
especially
but the Vikings,
when you say it on purpose.
Yeah, the Vikings wouldn't sign him, Dan, unless they had all their I's dotted and their T's crossed. And he can't win a Super Bowl with Pittsburgh. They're not going to win. He can win a Super Bowl with Minnesota.
The culture there is so. Pittsburgh tends to make the playoffs.
Big deal. They can't win the Super Bowl.
That gives you a chance. But no, I think that the culture in both those places is right to bring him in, and I don't think he can disrupt it because I think O'Connell is strong. He's a leader. He's the guy that had led that team back. They follow him. They trust him. They believe in him. It just wasn't that way with the Jets. Everything was all over the place, and it's just not a good organization from top to bottom right now. I mean, you know, good luck to Aaron Glenn. I wish him nothing but success, but I think if we've learned anything here, guys, it has to be, you know, from top to bottom and everything in between has to be working cohesively and pulling in the same direction and believing in the same things and fighting for the same things and having the same values for it to work. And if you don't have that, it becomes really difficult. Pittsburgh's got that. Minnesota's got that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they would just be happy to have a playoff win. When's the last time they had one of those? Minnesota, too. Just happy to have a playoff win.
Over a decade.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Dan, what are your plans for this weekend, man?
This weekend, man, I'm just going to chill. I'm looking for watch a little Players Championship on TV and watch a lot of basketball. It's going to be, we got some great ball coming up this weekend. So Michigan State obviously looked pretty good in getting that done today. Yep. We'll see what the rest of the weekend looks like. It almost feels kind of weird looking at Michigan State because it's like, how much emotional capital do you spend on this when you got that big prize coming up, you know, starting next week? And they're right in that mix. So it's going to be fun watching this, seeing if Michigan tonight can get their act together and get back to playing the way that they maybe were 5-6 weeks ago. And we'll have some fun and just a chill weekend with a lot of TV in front of it.
Agreed.
Enjoy it, Dan.
Also, I will be downtown at LCA tomorrow. I got to check out those Pistons against SG and OKC Thunder. It is going to be exciting.
That's, man, how good are they? And hopefully that was a wake-up call for the Pistons last night.
Yeah.
That was a stinker. You don't want to lose that game.
You can't win them all, right? Can't win them all.
No, you can't. You just don't want to lose that one.
No.
Well, it's always fun when we have Dan Miller on the show. Dan, I appreciate you for lending your time.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you, man.
We'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend, my guy.
You do the same. Enjoy. Have fun.
I'll see you, buddy.
Guys.
We'll do so. Always a pleasure to talk to Dan Miller. Always insightful and full of so much knowledge, especially as it relates to the Lions. He's got a point. I mean, it's a long off season. There's a lot of time. They're adding pieces. They're trying to shore up the depth around the team. And at the end of the day, the Lions are the number one team. The Lions are the team that people are chasing. So we haven't
They're the champs.
We haven't seen what the Chicago Bears' new additions will look like once this season starts. We don't know who the hell is going to be quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. So before we get worried about the teams behind us, we got to figure out if they even have a system in place. So I appreciate that. Always fun.
Always, man. It's always good talking Lions off season
it is.
with Dan Miller.
Especially when your team, man, look, at the end of the day, they didn't go to where we wanted them to go this season in the playoffs.
That's for sure.
They won the NFC North. They were 15-2. And at the end of the day, you had 300 injuries. So when you look at it that way, it was a hell of a season.
Do you ever think you'd look at a 15-2 season and want to throw up?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we're mad about a 15-2. But you know why we're not mad but disappointed? Because we know what it could have been. We know what we wanted it to be. We know what it was going to be.
They were not ready for that game, and injuries did catch up with them.
It did. Yeah, it did, and it sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? Speaking of injuries, is Dr. Pierce and his knowledge. Tell us a little bit about the Injury Insider.
Yeah, I should have asked Dr. Pierce yesterday about David Montgomery coming back. Will that MCL heal, Bray? Will that MCL heal on its own without surgery?
He'll be fine.
Yeah?
Like you can do a little scope though, like just for MCL, you can do a quick scope, it'd be fine. Like he's probably already done it, to be honest, realistically.
All right. I hope you're right. Because Dr. Pierce will keep you in the game and performing at your best. You check him out at MichiganSportsAndSpine.com. He joins us every Tuesday on Big G Energy, Thursdays with us here on The Big Show. And, of course, he's the guy that D-Mac and Braylon trust. We all trust him. He's got that special sauce. You want to get out there, MichiganSportsAndSpine.com, 248-426-9944. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce.
Woodward Sports is at it again, giving away more cash and prizes than anyone in Detroit. Get into our March Bracket Challenge, powered by Jug and Nathan Neurosurgery. If you have the biggest basketball brain and get first place, you win $1,000 cold, hard cash. But it doesn't stop there. Second place gets a weekend at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City, including brunch at Erie and golf. Third place, 2 club seats to see the Pistons versus Bucks with food and drinks courtesy of RHB Laboratories in Troy. You can pre-register now at WoodwardSportsBracket.com. That's WoodwardSportsBracket.com. Then, after Selection Sunday, fill out your bracket for your chance at $1,000 in cash money and more. Pick by mascot, choose by team colors, have your dog pick. No matter how you do it, go to WoodwardSportsBracket.com right now and register. All powered by the best in the game, Chuck and Nathan Neurosurgery and Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's $5,000 right off the top and in your pocket. That's right. You can even donate it to Brad Holmes and the guys so they can sign some people. That's right. Remember that. Give Mark White and his team a call today, 248-290-8242. Visit him online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, that number, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Yeah, and I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. It's a new era of sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at shop.woodwardsports.com. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. Everyone's going to be asking you where you got your new Tigers hoodie on opening day. Make sure you go get it so they can say that to you. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Get your merch now.
What'd I miss?
You missed Dan. You missed Dan.
How'd it go?
Went good.
He basically said it's a long off season. He said so we're reacting to every move that's happening within a 4-day period. So we got to relate and let some of these moves play out. We know we want the big splash. We want the big move. We want to do what Chicago and Minnesota have done. But at the end of the day, they're chasing us. So it's best not to put ourselves in situations where we're going to be just releasing players, much like the Eagles are doing right now, much like the 49ers are doing. So you see, keep a mindful eye on that. He also said, you've earned, or Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell has earned some equity. Talking about the moves they made, the turnaround that they've had. I think because we've gotten there so fast, and you were at the NFC Championship game, and last year was Super Bowl or bust, you just don't know how long the window is. So that's us forcing and pressing and like, yes, now, move, now, let's go. The window is closing, everybody else is moving. But Dan he's calm, cool, and collected, so he got us to calm down a little bit.
Nice.
A little bit.
I love it.
And he wanted to let you know that the salary cap is real.
It's real.
That's right.
He did.
And I told him,
What'd you
I don't
tell
care
him?
about the salary cap. I want to get to the Super Bowl. I'll worry about that after.
Right.
And he kind of agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, when do you do a move like that? You have to get rid of guys you signed to these big contracts. Like a lot of these teams dump these free agents. Eventually, you got to do it. But if the guy comes in and he helps you get to the Super Bowl, then it's worth it.
That's great.
It's worth it.
The problem is it just hasn't happened yet. And I think once that move happens for the Lions, whatever that move is for the Lions, whether it's this year, it's next offseason, whatever that move is, when they make that move, the Lions fans, you guys out there, you'll be like, oh, okay, it works. I don't think any fan base is like, yo, go out and spend and get this player and spend all your money or do this, that, and the third. But yet once a player comes, we looked at countless Super Bowl winners over the past 25 years, not named the Patriots, that have made the moves necessary to win those games. So once that move happens and once we have success, I think then Lions fans are, oh, okay, I guess it did work out.
I apologize I was not around for the Dan Miller interview. I had a call with my kid's school that was unavoidable.
How'd that go?
You were unavoidably detained?
It was good.
Good.
It was good. So I had to take care of that. But good interview by you guys, and we move on.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, I've been sitting on this all week. Terry and Arnold had to take out the guys for the rookie dinner. So they went to a steakhouse, and he spent $102,000, including, look at that tab. Look at that.
Tab.
Not the tab, but I wish we had everything that they ordered.
Yeah.
But look at that tip, which is they put on. How much is that tip there? I can't read it.
22% service fee. And then there's
I know. What's that come out to?
The tax is $4,800.
$17,000.
Yep.
$17,000. Plus, the guy probably threw the wait staff some cash as well. So I wanted to bring it. I wanted to bring it to Braylon. Braylon, $102,000. How much did you spend back in the day, or did you have to spend anything back in the day for your rookie dinner?
Yeah, this is BS. Like that $102,000 and Terry and Arnold. Like Terry and Arnold makes what, $8 million a year? Which
I don't know, does he?
I think he makes $8 million a year, which is a lot for a 20+ pick. But I don't know. Like that's a lot. $102,000 is a hell of a lot of money. I don't care what the goal is. When I did the rookie dinner, I was smart. I got ahead of it. I didn't wait for them to come grab me and say we're going out tonight and this is where we're going and this is what we're gonna do. I got ahead of it. I had heard horror stories on what the price was, and that's why when I look at $102,000, I'm like, he wasn't drafted in the top 3. Like you draft the top 3, it still sucks, but I can see that because you can itemize that, but then you also can.
What was your rookie deal?
Huh? Why are you in my business?
I want to compare it.
40. 7 years, $40 million.
Okay.
7 years, 40. But yeah,
I can get a loan. I can get a loan
if you need it. No, but I was smart about mine. I set it up, hit all the wide receivers up. I say, hey, look, everybody be at my house 2 weeks from now, Friday.
Mom's gonna cook.
Gotta cater, yeah.
No, I could have done that. I didn't do that. I still took him out to a restaurant. We went to Morton's in Beechwood. Went there, ate steaks, ate good. I think my bill came out to like $6,100. I had a limo. Then we went out after that. I probably spent another $2,200.
There you go.
So
that's not bad.
Under $10,000.
About $10K. Like once you had the limo and all that. But once you get ahead, and once you show that you for it, the cats are different. They're not trying to, blow your bill up.
So what year was that again?
That was 2005.
All right, so 20 years later.
102,000. Like they had to be
10
ordering
times what you spent.
champagne.
That's
Crazy shots. Probably Louis the 13th.
Oh,
yeah, definitely some Louis the 13th was passed around that table. Definitely some expensive bottles of champagne just because you can. Like
Just because you can.
Hey, while you're sitting on something, I was sitting on something too.
Pause.
Can I get a little beat here?
Yeah, I got you.
Apparently you did.
The top 20 NFL free agent signings of all time. Would you
Okay.
allow me?
I'd love it.
If you've got a comment, feel free to weigh in.
Who put this list out?
This is just
NFL.
NFL.
All right.
Okay. Number 20, Rich Gannon, in 1999 left the Chiefs and went to the Oakland Raiders. He earned an MVP award and led the Raiders to a Super Bowl appearance. Rich Gannon.
Nice.
Number 19,
They got crushed, though.
Aeneas Williams left the Cardinals, went to the Rams in 01. Williams'
01.
defensive skills helped the Rams win the Super Bowl
Yep.
that year. Number 18, London Fletcher. He left the Bills, went to the Redskins in 07. Fletcher's consistent play led to multiple Pro Bowl selections and solidified the Redskins' defense. What about James Ferrier in 2002? Left the Jets, went to the Steelers in 02, anchored a defense that won 2 Super Bowls. James Ferrier.
One in Detroit.
I played against
Detroit.
Did not. This is the only player on this list I had
Foot
no
replaced
recollection
him.
of.
That's who Foot replaced.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's who Larry Foot replaced.
You're right about that. Bryce Paup.
Yes.
Oh, I remember
Buffalo.
Bryce Pop. Buffalo, yeah.
Left the Packers, went to the Bills in 95, led the NFL in sacks in 95, 17 and a half sacks, earning Defensive Player of the Year award honors. Number 15, a guy Braylon Edwards knows, left the 49ers in 2001, went to the Oakland Raiders.
Randy Moss.
Jerry Rice
I'm tripping.
contributed significantly to help the Raiders reach the Super Bowl. I did not realize he was on that team that led the Raiders to the Super Bowl.
1,300 yards and made second team All-Pro, and Tim Brown didn't make Pro Bowl. He was hot that year.
What about Simeon
That
Rice?
was his worst hair year, I think.
Right. What about Simeon Rice? Left the Cardinals in 01, led the Tampa Bay Bucks defense
Super Bowl.
to the Super Bowl as well. How about that?
Super Bowl.
Number 13, John Riggins. He left the Jets in 1976, went to the Redskins,
Diesel.
and led a powerful running situation to the Super Bowl MVP performance.
Beat the Dolphins and Dan Marino.
Notice a theme here.
Yeah.
do.
Free agents
Yes.
leading teams
Yes.
to Super Bowls.
Good ones.
Just saying.
I like the look.
How about Chris Carter? Left the Eagles in 1990, became a premier receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, had a Hall of Fame career, led the league in touchdowns 3 times, and again entered the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Fill in the blank. All he does is blank.
Catch touchdown.
That's right.
100%.
Number 11, a guy Braylon Edwards knows pretty well. He left the Patriots in 1998, played for the New York Jets. Curtis Martin.
My favorite Martin.
Curtis Martin consistently
my
ranked
favorite
among the NFL top rushers, led the NFL in rushing in 04.
Bill Parcells' favorite player of all time, and he had Lawrence Taylor.
As it should be, him and Barry Sanders, the only players ever. 1,000 yards, 10 straight seasons in a row, from draft to that 10th year.
Superstar.
Barry and Curtis Martin.
Now we go to the top 10. Number 10 on this list, Adam Vinatieri left the Patriots in 06, went to the Indianapolis Colts. He was a clutch kicker that contributed to the Colts' Super Bowl victory, solidifying his legacy. What about
what you did there, legacy.
Yeah, that's right. How about that?
Yeah,
Number 9, Priest Holmes left the Ravens in 01, went to the Chiefs. He led the NFL in rushing in 01, then had a record of 27 rushing touchdowns in 03. Priest Holmes.
You know who broke that record?
No.
He broke it. What year was that? That was 03?
03.
He broke it in 06, the person that broke the record.
Gurley?
Not 06. Gurley wasn't even in college in 06.
No idea.
I played with him. He's one of my former teammates as well.
Thomas Jones?
No, but he replaced Thomas Jones the following year.
Marshall Falk?
He's
LaDainian.
LaDainian Tomlinson. That's what I always.
LaDainian Tomlinson broke the record in 06, and he had 29.
By the way, speaking of Marshall Falk, even though you were talking about LaDainian Tomlinson, some of his stuff for the Colorado Buffaloes, you see these. Oh my God. He's a new running backs coach for the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah,
I play a video from him every morning to get my day going. It is like you want to put your head through the wall for that.
The Marshall
guy.
plan.
Yep.
He's a hell of a running back. You look at what he did, like
Marshall
starting
Falk.
in college to the NFL. Like,
what did Chris
you-
Berman say about him? Marshall.
you can make an argument that he's top 5 all time.
Yep.
I agree. Make an argument.
Number 8, Charles Woodson left the Raiders in 2006. For the Green Bay Packers, he was the Defensive Player of the Year and won the Super Bowl. Charles Woodson.
You know what's so crazy about Chuck? He got hurt. He's played in 2 Super Bowls. Okay, he played with the Raiders when he lost to the Bucks, and he played in Green Bay when they beat the Steelers.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl.
He's never made it to a half of a game. He had an interception when he was with the Raiders and got hurt on the second series of the game, was out.
Wow.
His shoulder. And then with Green Bay, remember, he got hurt in the first quarter yet again and didn't play the rest of the game.
Just looking at glancing at the chat, these were all moves that were popular when Blockbuster was still popular. Go use Google some more. It's called research for a
baby.
show topic. What do you want me to do? Sit here and not have facts? Okay, Ryan, now tell me about the free agent signings who did not work out. The name of this topic is the top 20 free agent signings of all time. For those that missed it in the back.
First of all, we told you about all the signings that haven't worked out. They all play for the Lions.
Right, that was yesterday.
Come on,
number 7, Rod Woodson left the 49ers in 1998, went to the Baltimore Ravens, transitioned to safety, and was pivotal in the Ravens' Super Bowl winning defense.
Where did he tear his ACL at?
Oh, man. Detroit, right?
Yep, 100%.
That's right.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Hit him with a
Sorry, not sorry.
Number 6 on this list. In 2005, he went to the Arizona Cardinals at quarterback. His name, Kurt Warner. Do you remember where he left?
Giants.
Yes. The Giants. A lot of people think he went to the Rams to the Cardinals. No, there was a year in the Giants
snuck
there.
a Super Bowl.
That's right. Warner revitalized his
won the
career,
Super Bowl.
leading the Cardinals to a Super Bowl and earning 2 Pro Bowl selections.
James Harrison won that Super Bowl for them.
This guy,
Antonio Holmes.
top 5 now. This guy counts twice.
Just name the team that he left for, and I'll tell you what it is.
Left the 49ers.
I don't know a year or so to go.
Left to the 49ers in 1995 and went to the Cowboys.
Oh, that's easy, Deion.
And then left the Falcons in 1994 and went to the San Francisco. He is number 5 on this list. Prime time, one consecutive Super Bowls with the 49ers and Cowboys, showcasing his defensive prowess. Number 4 on this list, Tom Brady. Left the Patriots in 2020, went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After 20 seasons with the Pats, Brady led the Patriots to a Super Bowl win in his first season
How is he not number
in
1?
Tampa.
Because Peyton Manning is on this list.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3 on this list, Peyton Manning. Left the Colts in 2012. This is going to be fun. I'm curious to see if you guys get number 1. Left the Colts in 2012, went to the Broncos. Post-neck surgery, Manning joined the Broncos, earning an MVP award and leading them to 2 Super Bowls and 4 years and a Super Bowl win in Super Bowl 50. Number 2.
I got number 1.
Who?
Jim Plunkett.
Number 2 on this list, Reggie White.
That's where I was going.
Reggie White left the Eagles in 1993 and went to the Green Bay Packers. He legitimized free agency. He was the free agent that started it all, really. He recorded 68.5 sacks over 6 seasons, leading the Packers to a Super Bowl 31 win.
Do you know the Giants almost signed him out of the USFL?
I love Lawrence Taylor. I love him to death. I love Mad's love for Lawrence Taylor. I'm always picking Reggie White first as my defensive player.
Can you imagine if he went to the Giants and him and Lawrence Taylor would have been playing together? Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it would have been like Terrell Suggs and Ray Lewis. Oh, wait, that happened.
The Memphis Showboats.
That would have been amazing.
I don't think you're going to get this one.
Plunkett ain't it?
No, he's not it. Number
won 2
one,
Super Bowls.
Number 1 on this list, and the more I think about it, I think this.
Drew Brees?
Yes. Drew Brees is, according to this list, the greatest free agent signing
Nice call, Bray.
in the history of the NFL. Left San Diego in 2006, went to the New Orleans Saints after a shoulder injury, leading them to a Super Bowl win and becoming the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards and touchdowns when he retired. When he retired, Drew Brees was the all-time leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns, a Hall of Fame career, and a Super Bowl for a team that was one of the worst in pro sports. Wow. I think all of those things elevate him to be the number 1 free agent signing of all time. Not only that, but Nick Saban will tell you he is the reason why he is the head coach at the University of Alabama. He had a deal when he was the head coach at Miami. He had a deal with Drew Brees to sign him. I got to have Brees. That was the predicate of Miami. That was the predicate of Nick Saban going to Miami.
And you know
was
why
that he got Drew Brees.
And you know why he knew about Drew Brees? Because he was a head coach at Michigan State.
That's right. And he recruited Brees. It was all done.
Wow.
The deal was done for Brees to the Miami Dolphins, but the Dolphins' doctor did not pass him in a physical. So then he went right back out into the free agency market.
Fired.
And ultimately Saban was as well. I think he had to go to get Dante Culpepper at the time in Miami. So he could think about all this, how sports just works.
The Saints would have been on the list with us right now as the 5th Super Bowl team.
That's
to
right.
Not make it.
The Dolphins, Saban's career he would have never been at Alabama. He would have, he would have never been at Alabama. He would have been with the Dolphins. Maybe Bill Belichick doesn't happen in the same division if Drew Brees is there with Saban. Maybe that Patriots dynasty doesn't happen. Yeah. You don't get Rich Rod at Michigan, probably. You know what I mean?
It's a big trickle down.
All these things trickle down. Pretty incredible.
That's a great list.
No, that's a hell of a list. Let me ask you this question: if the goal is Super Bowls, Denver got 2 appearances, 1 win out of Peyton Manning, but I guess it was only in a 4-year period, which is where you got more out of Drew Brees in terms of longevity, playoff appearances, merch sales,
and I think you see Peyton Manning as a Colt, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The sheriff.
That's true. I guess the longevity of the time for Drew Brees. Drew Brees' career.
It was his entire career, essentially.
I just want to say, Jim Plunkett left the 49ers, went to the Raiders,
won a Super Bowl,
and won 2 Super Bowls.
That's interesting.
That's all I got to say.
John Riggins, I don't know what year that was. John Riggins is the first.
It's the 80s.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
it's the 80s.
Yeah, maybe.
Plunkett? No, it's the 70s.
Guys, let me get one more break in real quick. Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Oh, yeah, everybody. March Madness is in full effect, so scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. When you do, deposit at least $20 and make a first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you'll get that first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. March Madness, baby.
You know, just quickly, we didn't mention Pistons much today at all, if we even acknowledge them. Last night's game, bad loss, yes. They're not going to win 100% of the games that they have to win. That's a young team that is learning how to win and learning how to show up each and every night.
They got caught napping.
They did. And Isaiah Stewart mentioned that after the game. And you know what? God bless them. I don't have one bad thing to say about that team right now at all.
Coming into the season, the over-under of the team was 25.5. Like, we didn't think that they were going to win that. So them losing the game when they were in fourth place in the space that we didn't think they were going to be in, I have no qualms or quarrels about it.
This is weird, the back-to-backs. I've never heard of them until this year. I mean, they beat the Bulls back-to-back earlier in the year. They killed them. And they could have crushed Washington, but Washington played their best game of the year.
That's right. They blew the Bulls out here, and then they went on the road, and then blew them out of home.
Yeah, they beat them bad.
Michigan State won today. Michigan plays tonight. They're an underdog against Purdue, and we'll see. Michigan, I just like to see Michigan win a basketball game.
Yes.
You know, I mean, forget about, like, you know, I know it's one and done and all that. So I'd like to see them win a game. I don't even care if they lose in the semis. Just win tonight.
Right. Win a game.
Win a game, right?
It looks like Michigan State's going to be playing Wisconsin. The Badgers up 18 right now in the second half. So they're rolling. I don't even know who they're playing.
They're playing UCLA, but they just cut the
Illinois
lead.
put 100 points on the board last night.
Illinois is a good team.
Not bad.
Yeah, no doubt.
A lot of bubble teams in the Big Ten. By the way, Pete, let's put up the bracket. This is the projected field of 68. The projected field of 68, and it's really small, so I'll tell you, Michigan State right now is projected as a number 2. They got them in the South region. I believe they'll make it into the Midwest region, which will go to Indianapolis. But they've got them against Omaha, number 15. And they got Michigan against Liberty. That's a 5-12 out west. So they got Michigan losing that famed 12-5 game out there. But there you go. You got your number 1s, you got your number 2s, and MSU's a solid number 2.
I hope I didn't predict another winner because what did I say about Michigan? I said they just strike me as a 5 that's going to lose to 12. I said that last.
You brought it up,
right?
And look what they did.
But Liberty almost lost today, guys. Losing to the Commanders.
Liberty, they get the
Liberty almost lost.
They finally brought the Liberty guy back. I like that.
Liberty.
We are in the year 2025, even though Braylon Edwards has gone back to 2004, looking good. Bray, get us out of here. Great week.
Appreciate that, man. Great week out of you guys, man. Good to be here. Glad
to be together.
All together.
Yes,
appreciate Dan Miller and all the other guests that we had this week. They did come through for us. A lot of good conversation, man. Maybe we'll go home this week, digest some of it, and come back with some new thoughts. I still feel how I feel, and so do you. For my man, Ricky Burns, Beach Buyback, who have had a hell of a week.
Yes, sir.
Been here every day. Tom Masway looks and feels a little bit better, it seems. Ryan Ermanni got the nice glow going on like Bruce Leroy.
The glow.
We'll see you guys on Monday.
See you, fellas.